The war on drugs. How many of you have heard this phrase before? That's a lot of you. If so, then maybe you will have an idea of what I'm going to share with you throughout my speech. Hello, my name is Jose Padilla, and today I will persuade to you that the war on drugs, with its good intentions, has failed. First, I will give you a brief history of the war on drugs and how it started. Then I will talk about what the war on drugs has done. And finally, I will explain to you why it has failed. Many of you are probably wondering why I just said that the war on drugs have failed. So let's begin. The war on drugs was first declared by President Nixon on June 17, 1971 on live television, and according to the Drug Policy Alliance article named A Brief History of the Drug War, Nixon stated that drugs have become public enemy number one, and that drugs have become the symbol of youthful rebellion. Yeah. And according to CNN's documentary, The War on Drugs 40 Years Later, President Nixon stated that it is necessary to wage a new all-out offensive to stop drug use in the United States. And these drugs were crack cocaine, opium, heroin, and the drug he really wanted to crack down was marijuana. He also used a lot of propaganda to state that marijuana was bad for kids, saying that it made you dangerous and that you would become a psychopath. So after his address, he dramatically increased the size and precincts of federal drug control agencies and pushed through measures such as mandatory minimum sentences, which is a court decision setting where judicial discretion is limited by law, and typically people convicted of drug offenses were punished with at least minimum number of years in prison. And in 1993, Congress passed by the 3 strikes laws, which if you were caught more than twice and your third time for drug offenses, you have to do jail time. He also implemented the no-knock warrants, which according to Ron Barnett's article, Critics Knock, No-Knock Police Raids, these warrants were issued by judges that allow law enforcement officers to enter property without prior notification on the residents, so they didn't have to ring a bell or knock. They could just go in there and do their business because they thought this was a more efficient way of cracking down drug houses, because this didn't give time for the drug dealers to get rid of their evidence that convicted them of their illicit activities. So now that I have given a brief history of the drug wars, let's talk about what the drug wars have done. To start, the war on drugs has been going on now for over 40 years. And according to the documentary The House I Live In by Eugene Jerky, the war on drugs has had over 45 million arrests and has put more than 500,000 people in jail for non-violent drug offenses. He also states that throughout the whole drug war era, we have spent $1 trillion funding these operations to crack down criminals and all that stuff, which is a lot of money, seeing how we're in debt. And did you know that it costs about $78.95 to keep an inmate in jail just for one day? And that's just one. Like if you multiply how many people we have in prisons now, like it's a lot. So that little small number turns into a big one. So now that you know what the drug wars have done, I'm going to explain to you why it has failed. The war on drugs has failed because throughout the whole drug war, the amount of drug use in America has remained the same. And that's funny because their whole mission is to stop drug use, and they really failed. And according to Eugene's documentary, the war on drugs has imprisoned millions, and now America is the world's largest jailer, having about 2.3 million prisoners incarcerated, which is more than any other country in the world. And this is outrageous, seeing how the United States only has 5% of the world's population, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. The war on drugs has also clearly failed because even Barack Obama agreed and stated that the war on drugs has been an utter failure. So overall, now that I have shared with you this information with you, hopefully you will see that what exactly this war has done and how this isn't the way to stop drug use. And as a matter of fact, Portugal has legalized all drugs in their country, and they also managed to ironically bring down drug use, and they even have less drug addicts than the United States. And there is a famous little slogan, it's called "Prohibition never works," and that's what all the people who are pro-marijuana nowadays, that's what they all use. Because as we can see with history, when they try to ban alcohol, it didn't work. People began to bootleg alcohol and managed to still sell it and consume it. And this is clearly why it has failed. Thank you.